For and well, we're going to be with you till the hour of 9 a.m. So please sit back, relax. Let's give you all the information that we have been able to gather for you. For now, good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you. How are you doing?
I am very well. How is your morning?
My morning is quite fine, though your generation sometimes is also a problem.
Which generation?
You that never watched Flying House on UBC TV. You know, the likes of Ruben Impima, Kasera Chibirango will tell you how we had very good content, and we still have as UBC those days. Because this morning...
Can I tell you I actually watched
Flying House?
I did.
Oh.
I actually did watch Flying House, but you, what a choice now.
I don't know what is going on with this generation. The way they don't value life. I thought it was only what we are seeing in Israel, Palestine. But on my way to work, I met young men and they were mobbing or carrying out mob justice.
This morning?
This morning.
That's interesting.
Saying about the bar. So I tried, when I said, but you see, why don't you call police? Now I took Jaku Gataku, meaning we shall also. And I'm like, why do the people get the rage, the anger, that someone who was just passing by immediately picks a brick and wants to hit? I'm like, how?
It depends on whoever was being hit at, what they did. If it's a thief, honestly speaking, very many people have little mercy for people that you know that steal. Personally, I don't know if I would have mercy on someone that steals from me again, because it's a traumatic experience. People are doing this. The bitterness has been gathered over time, and and sometimes it's hard to achieve justice. You'll agree with me that you go to police and report, and this person is taken in, and a few days, 1 or 2 later, the person is out. No justice served. So what do you expect Ugandans to do? At the end of the day, they'll sometimes take matters into their own hands.
Very bad.
It's very bad, and we are not advocating for mob justice, by the way. I think we should let the different bodies play their roles in terms of what needs to be done to maintain the law and order in the country. Otherwise, if all of us carry the law in our hands, well, at the end of the day, each of us will have one eye or one ear, or we would have literally made each other lame in a way. But Robert, I learned a very interesting story and even a video, so to say, of this bus driver of a renowned bus company who was caught on video texting while driving. This driver has been has been imprisoned, but also remanded, but also has been imprisoned and of course been chased from work. They can no longer work with a Link Bus. Please do note that there's been very many scandals of Link Bus. You know, the one we saw on Fort Portal Road, and they will tell you it was reckless driving. And according to police, one of the biggest causes of accidents on the road is these phones of ours. Because we use them recklessly. You're going to pick a phone call, you're going to be texting, and I would like to hear from you. Is it sometimes inevitable? Or you've driven before, you've been people who drive and they pull out the phone and check. Is it inevitable sometimes you will not hold your phone when someone is driving?
Well, I'll begin with the police traffic annual report that indicated an increase of 35% in what we call common accidents. Now, or simple accidents. These are accidents that are caused out of such funny things like someone is texting while driving, someone is picking a phone, someone is drinking while driving. You know, in the history of Uganda, there was one prominent musician who was drinking while driving. Those in the Kadongo Kamu fraternity can understand. And what took his life was a beer bottle.
Oh, the one that went under the pedals.
And that's how we lost him. But these are simple things. Even if it wasn't a beer bottle, you can take soda, you can take any soft drink, but still have that. Now, certain times it only takes you very little of your time to save your life from an accident, or it takes you very little of your time to become history. Common today is driving while on phone, driving while on while texting or driving, and of late also that driving while eating has become a problem because now we have so many quick foods around where someone is simple to say, give me chips, park, then I'll drive as I'm going. So I'll eat as I'm going. One, in our culture, we don't eat while we respect food and we have something. But these are causes of accidents. And the bad thing is also, even when you have gadgets that can assist us, we don't want to use them.
Which gadgets are you talking about?
For example, any number of vehicles, some are latest, others you have to install a few things. That if someone calls you, automatically the call goes through.
Oh, you mean connecting via Bluetooth?
Yes,
your phone.
and you can, of course some cars come when that is already done, but there are those that you have to improvise and have that technology in your car. That works. I know technology where, well, even a message can come in, it's read by the phone itself, there are apps, and you can speak and your phone can type.
Right.
For us, for example, who use motorcycles, we have helmets that have Bluetooth. When I'm on my bike, I don't have to pick my phone. I just put in auto. Any call that comes, I can comfortably receive it and go ahead. However, I think I'd advise people, while driving, do not pick a phone call. Reason being, what if that message that is coming is very disturbing?
Right.
Someone calls you and says, Chantal, where are you? This man who proposed to you last night is in this place with a woman. Chantal, come and see. You, the Subaru driver, with your Subaru, the one you cruise like nothing. Which government could? There's people who drive Subarus in anger.
There's nothing wrong with a Subaru, honestly speaking.
You Subaru drivers, now with the way you drive your Subaru, Chantal, you can cause an accident. If someone called me because you want to pick this call, and someone told me, Robert, something has happened to your darling son, the worst, and I received that call while I'm driving. You know, us Africans, they will receive sad news. Hey, you let the wheels go. I can't believe. Hey, hey, hey. And there you are. You've consumed lives. So I don't advocate, I don't advise, and I would urge Ugandans to desist and detest driving and picking calls, driving while testing. Get somewhere, fast park, because it's only a short of a time.
Right.
And you save your life, including many other lives.
Great. Well, that is it from Chirabo, and I really strongly advocate for people being mindful on the road, because at the end of the day, your life is at stake, but even my life. Now, we're talking about a bus of about 62 members in there, passengers in there, and this is on a long stretch, meaning the 62 are at risk, you are at risk, they have families, even the other road users are actually at risk because you are doing something reckless. So I'm really calling upon us, the drivers and Subaru drivers. Most of us have no problem, just that a few of us. And you know, there is something wrong with that car, but we're going to get into that later. Maybe let's get into the local stories for the day so that we get to know what is happening in the country before Chiro starts spinning nails on me because of a Subaru.
Let's go to the stories. And we'll begin with President Yoweri Museveni, who has bid farewell to the outgoing ambassador of Italy to Uganda, His Excellency Massimiliano Mazzatini, who called on him at State House Entebbe. During the meeting, the president congratulated the outgoing ambassador for completing his tour of duty in Uganda and also commended the existing bilateral relations between the two countries. The outgoing ambassador thanks President Museveni and the government of Uganda for the support accorded to him during his tenure. The ambassador has been in Uganda for the last 4.5 years. He is leaving the country to Rome for the next duty. The meeting was also attended by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Henry Okello Oryem. Still, the Uganda People's Defense Forces has killed 6 ADF remnants who tried to sneak into Uganda by water via Lake Edward. The commander of the operation, Suja, Major General Dick Olim, confirmed the incident and noted that the leader of the group has been captured alive. This group has been linked to the incident of burning students at Mpondwe, Rubiriha Secondary School, and an attack in Kasindi where UPDF soldiers were killed. Still looking at local stories, the Ministry of Works and Transport, together with the Russia Joint Stock Global Security Company, have launched a digital licensing system for all vehicles and motorcycle number plates to phase out the ordinary number plates. At the official launch at the ministry's headquarters, the Minister of Works, General Edward Katumba Wamala, and the National Security Minister Jim Huezi said the new system will help curb crime and reckless driving among road users. Finally, from the local scene, Cabinet has approved the new Teachers' Bill of 2023 to promote, maintain and uphold ethical standards in the teaching profession. Addressing journalists at the Media Center in Kampala, the Minister for Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, said the proposed law, teachers will be licensed after every 4 years. Baryomunsi said teachers will be required to embrace professional development for renewal of their license. Relatedly, Baryomunsi said not every decision or recommendation made by Parliament is binding to the executive. This explains why the President has recently declined to assent on some decisions of members of Parliament, including the recent censure of a minister. Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, said the Constitution does require the President to make some decisions public.
Right, that is it for the local stories, and then let's cross over and check what is happening on the international scene. And of course, we are still giving you updates on Israeli attacks. Now, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights says Israeli attacks on Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp may be disproportionate attacks that could amount to war crimes. Turkish-Palestinian Friendship Hospital, Gaza's only medical facility serving cancer patients, was forced to shut down after running out of fuel. Other hospitals are on the brink of power outages. Antonio Guterres' spokesman also says the United Nations chief is appalled by the Israeli strikes on Jabalia, which was hit twice in 2 days. World Health Organization welcomes the evacuation of at least 81 critically ill patients from Gaza to Egypt as the Rafah crossing opens for the first time for civilians crossing since October 7th. Now, 335 holders of foreign passports were also reportedly allowed to cross. At least 8,805 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. And away from that, hundreds of thousands of undocumented Afghans living in Pakistan now face arrest and deportation after the government's deadline for them to leave voluntarily expired this Wednesday, 1st November. Pakistan's Interior Minister justified his decision, taken in early October, by the number of Afghans involved in recent terror attacks in Pakistan. Some 200,000 Afghans have already left Pakistan voluntarily, albeit often reluctantly, ahead of the November 1st deadline. Our correspondents Shazaib Wahla and Sonia Gezai reported. Moving on, the German president has expressed shame for the colonial atrocities his country inflicted on Tanzania. German forces killed almost 300,000 people during the Maji Maji rebellion in the early 1900s, one of the bloodiest anti-colonial uprisings. President Frank-Walter Steinmeier was speaking at a museum in Songea where the uprising took place. "I would like to ask for forgiveness for what the Germans did to your ancestors here," he said. What happened here is our shared history, the history of your ancestors and the history of our ancestors in Germany. The Maji-Maji rebellion was triggered by a German policy designed to force the indigenous population to grow cotton for export. Tanzania was a part of German East Africa, which consisted of modern-day Rwanda, Burundi, and parts of Mozambique. And speaking matters climate, air pollution, a global scourge that kills millions of people a year, is shielding us from the full force of the sun. Getting rid of it will accelerate climate change. That's the unpalatable conclusion reached by scientists poring over the results of China's decade-long and highly effective war on pollution, according to 6 leading climate experts. The drive to banish pollution, caused mainly by sulfur dioxide spewed from coal plants, has cut emissions by close to 90% and saved hundreds of thousands of lives, Chinese official data and health studies show. Yet, stripped of its toxic shield, which scatters and reflects solar radiation, China's average temperatures have gone up by 0.7 degrees Celsius since 2014, triggering fiercer heat waves, according to a Reuters review of the meteorological data and scientists interviewed. Well, that is it for what is happening internationally across the world and also in the world of climate. Right now, we are going to be taking a look at what is in the papers this morning.
Well, in case you don't yet come across them, this is what you should be expecting. I begin with a new vision where investors grab government hospital. Which investors? Well, the new vision has the details. Then we have here government launches digital number plates. Picture of the Minister of Works and Security. They are holding. Then Chinese investor fails to turn up for UNOC meeting. So much regarding investors. Then how to handle TB in people living with HIV/AIDS. And Minister Namuganza shocked by takeover. What takeover? The new vision gives you more, and there are a number of tenders for you there. Now the the Total Kids Festival is also back for parents there. Now more to the Daily Monitor this morning. Army kills ADF rebels who murdered tourists, and best government hospital named. Now here the Lizard has something to ask. Best hospital government named, and also it says, is it safe from the mafias? What is safe from mafias? Well, that is as government rolls out digital number plates. The Lizard is wondering there. On relationships, well, keeping the spark after having children. How do you keep it burning even when kids come in as a third part of the relationship? Still, they give you more regarding the UPDA, how they managed to arrest and, of course, put out of action some of the suspected ADF rebels there.
Well, thank you so much for that press review. We are going to be going for a very short break. But before that, when we come back in The Real, we are going to be discussing matters East Africa public relations. And we're looking at advancing public relations as a key driver for East African unity. We're going to see how that plays out. So please do prepare to have the conversation with us this very morning. Well, of course, as usual, we give you an inspiration song for the day. And in most cases, for a Thursday like this one, we get to throw back a little bit. So if you are a lover of Timberland and One Republic, today's song is Apologize.
Holding on your rope, got me 10 feet off the ground. And I'm hearing what you say, but I just can't make a sound. You tell me that you need me, then you go and cut me down. But wait, tell me that you're sorry. Didn't think I'd turn around. You say that it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too take another chance, take a fall, take a shot from you. I need you like a heart needs a beat. Yeah, I loved you with the fire red. Now it's turning blue. And you said sorry like an angel. Heaven let me think was you. But I'm afraid it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. Yeah. I said it's too late to apologize. Yeah. Holding on your own got me 10 feet off the ground.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli Miracap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish twete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obwebyenanda obw'obwiva eno okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wanu ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'e2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga batulagirira kusani fish farm ebwikwe ni side day dinde twabanga tusobola okufuna twetusaako obugege obwasooka era mu mwaka ogwali 2020 awo basobola okubanga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo $4 okuva mu operation werese creation era okuba yongereza kwe emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okubanga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 42. Twasobola okubanga tuinvestinga oba okubona nti twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukola gano. Twebaza gavumenti yaife okubanga buli saawa efaayo okubanga efeeri y'Abannayuganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Previously, in most of these areas that we had prioritized, farmers would produce, but you don't access market because the roads are not there. So you have the middlemen that would have access and they persevere to go into those deep in the villages and they buy with their own prices. They can go there and set prices for you, and yet you're the ones who are producing this food. But now this time with the market linkages, people can now access market because we have bridges that were, streams that were bottlenecks to access by the farmers. It has constructed bridges, so farmers can now reach market.
I've seen a number of community members out there that have formed themselves into groups and have identified enterprises, agricultural enterprises, rice and all that, and they've actually been successfully cultivating them. They've gone ahead, the project has gone ahead and also introduced small-scale industries like the rice huller, the grinding mills and all that that are managed by the groups. All these are successes.
City market lies in 4 acres of land with a population of about 4,000 registered market vendors who are doing business in this facility. We really appreciate the initiative of the government to come up with this project that is benefiting not only the business community within the market, but the entire community within actually sub-region. When you look at the market previously, the market used to be not like this one. With the market vendors, they used to sell under papyrus reeds. And we used also to ferry our goods, come and sell, then you take it in the stores or elsewhere. But now, due to this infrastructural development, the vendors now, they are able now to sell, cover your goods, leave it there, and you come and get it the next day when it is safe. The safety of our goods and the convenience of doing business has improved greatly. That makes the local community very, very, very happy when they are doing business in the market now. I want to appeal to my fellow vendors and the community of the entire Chile sub-region that we need to embrace and support the government so that they continue also bringing us more development in our region.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Achule land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart from being willing. You have to be willing, and a youth who is willing to get the skills. The courses we have started with only 4. That is tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, and welding. First intake, we registered 212. We admitted, 212 students from 10 administrative units of Acholi. These students, they recruited them from different districts within the Acholi sub-region. If we continue with this cooperation, many beneficiaries will pass through us, and they will will go with enough skills and on skills which will change them and later bring them into an economy. We shall really fight poverty in that way.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Achule land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart from being willing. You have to be willing, and a youth who is willing to get the skills. The courses we have started with only 4. That is tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, and welding. First intake, we registered 212 students from 10 administrative units of Acholi. These students, they recruited them from different districts within the Acholi sub-region. If we continue with this cooperation, many beneficiaries will pass through us, and they will go with enough skills and non-skills, which will change them and later bring them into an economy. We shall really fight poverty in that way.
Junko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa, amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo, okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo, ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kkubo ku ki ky'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
In this family, we can't agree on anything. Martha. We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
You're still watching Good Morning Uganda on UBC Television, and we are saying thank you for joining us. It is the 2nd of November. If you are just joining the show, my friend, you are just tuning into the best show in town. So welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us. And of course, to you, our usual viewer, we are calling upon you this morning to be part of today's conversation. And it's going to be centered on public relations. And this is going to be broad now. Next week, starting Monday, there's going to be what we call the East African Public Relations Week. Now, it's going to be taking place from the 6th to the 10th of November, and it's going to be in Jinja. Now, this year's theme is advancing PR excellence as a key driver for East African unity. Now, if I'm talking about East African unity, we're talking about all the East African countries. But before that, let's try and understand what public relations means. And in this case, we are going to be relating it to countries and their people, yeah? So public relations is a state of relationship between, it could be a company, it could be an organization or an individual, or between a company, an organization, and the public. So in this case, remove organization, remove company, and put the countries: Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, South Sudan, Congo, because these are the countries that we are talking about, and these are the countries that are actually partnering to put this event together. And also last year, the same event took place. So we are looking at how we can use PR as countries to bridge the gap between the state and the public as a way of driving unity, yeah? And this goes for all the East African countries. And having understood what public relations means in this case, we're going to be diving into this conversation. And in studio, I have Robert Cheravo Nyonyintano, and he's the one we're going to be having this conversation with. We are going to be looking at public relations. Now, Cheravo, unity is very important, and I mean, we've seen cases where if we are at loggerheads with South Sudan, for example, it doesn't, even our countrymen are affected, much as even the relations between, say, the president and the states are affected. But you'll find that in South Sudan, Ugandans are suffering. In Uganda, some Sudanese could be suffering as well because of anything that could be disrupting the relationship between the countries as well, and also the public and the state. So in this case, how do we even bridge that gap, or what is the relevance actually of public relations?
Well, thank you so much, my sister, and of course our viewers really treasure you for the time that you give us every morning. Now, to first put it in a simple term, public relations aims at, first of all, giving information. Giving information. Then the other thing it looks at is image protection. If you're a public relations officer, for every journalist you have a course unit that is PR, public relations.
Right.
And you must pass it for you to go through. But one thing you learn there is the information. Chantal talked about a company. Now you're talking about countries. You know, when certain things happen, information comes from all sources. Now, countries, companies worth their salt, organizations, institutions usually have what they call a public relations officer.
Right.
And for organizations, institutions, this is a management position. He sits in all meetings, or she sits in all meetings at management level. Because this is the person who is going to get the information, pass it on, but also advise. Because he's the connector, she's the connector between the company, the clients, and the public.
Right.
That's why you find UBC as a PRO, Airtel, MTN, ministries, UPDF, Uganda prisons, Uganda police, that instead of you getting information from different angles, that which information may not even be true or verified or authentic enough, now there is an officer. But also, he has a way of packaging this information. It could be maybe death, like we had the tourists that were killed in Kasese. That if anybody not trained just comes and communicates. Remember when those images came out, how we said, no, they were what? If you had gone through a public relations officer and they are only one who had that picture, that video, it would be edited to suit, to bring out the image very proper. Because you look at also that. Now, when it comes to East Africa, these states that make up the East African community,
yes,
information is very important.
In terms of how we relate.
How we relate. How we communicate over certain issues.
Right.
We've had issues where people from DRC come and fish in Uganda waters. Our fishermen, while on Uganda waters or in DRC waters, I'm not an official spokesperson. They end up fighting. Sometimes these ones confiscate, these ones jeers. They even arrest. Sometimes you see that we have these, but PRO comes in for such incidents. We had our milk in Kenya. So, image, to transform East Africa, we need a vibrant public relations. We need vibrant public relations. That as soon as something has happened, the people in these states get the right information, authentic information, packaged properly.
Right.
Not scanty, not scandalous, not scaring. Because information for us in the journalism fraternity, we believe that a pen is mightier than the sword. Now that
it goes a long way. It could actually do more harm.
Even in the Bible, the tongue has the power to make
or break.
On
that very note, Chairwa, allow me to cut you short. Just briefly, let's first get into a very short break, and then when we come back, we'll definitely continue this conversation, because unity for East Africa is very important. But you have to incorporate public relations, then that is a discussion that we definitely would like to continue having after this break.
In Bushenyi district, we run a number of programs ranging from service delivery to wealth creation. We have the presidential initiative on wealth creation, a MUGA program, where we have 34 circles that have been given funds for the last 2 years, of which each circle received 33 million and only 2 managed to receive 50 million each. These funds have enabled the different categories of our population to engage into business-related activities, and we can see their incomes getting better. Some of them are into tailoring, others into mechanics, into carpentry, hairdressing, won't mention it. And so far, they are running their enterprises smoothly.
Welcome back from that break, and well, definitely the break has come with a little bit of more information that we will be sharing. And on set with me this morning, I have Mr. Mwirigi Paul, who is the Vice President of the Public Relations Association of Uganda, if you've heard about PRAO. Now, earlier on with Cherabo, we were discussing public relations, and I believe right now the person we have on set is going to be giving us even deeper insights, first on the event that we expect starting next week on Monday, and then after that we will be knowing every other detail. And for those who would like to join PRAO as well, maybe they would get, this is the time for them to get a little more information. Good morning, Mr. Mwirigi.
Good morning, Chantal. Pleasure to be here.
Well, it's good to have you on set, and I'm sure by the time we're done here, we will be able to have lots of answers to the questions that we have. Now, this year's event, the theme is advancing public relations as the key driver for East African unity. And today's discussion, literally we are saying share your thoughts on how public relations can promote regional integration. And I'm hoping that you get to chip in and share your views on the X app, but also on our WhatsApp number that I will be reading out a little bit later, and we'll be able to know what you think. We already discussed what public relations is, but in this case, just briefly, what should someone take home in terms of public relations and relating it to the East African community?
Okay. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for hosting us as the Public Relations Association of Uganda. My name is Paul Mwirigi. I'm the Vice President of the Public Relations Association of Uganda. The reason why we are having this theme in relation to the East African integration, first of all, the East African Public Relations Week brings together about 5 different countries from East Africa. It brings together Uganda as a host. It brings Kenya, which hosted the first edition last year. It brings Tanzania delegates also. It brings also delegates from Rwanda, Burundi, and also South Sudan, as well as some from the DRC. So that's about 6 nations thereabout. Right. And the reason why we're talking about the East African integration is basically we're pushing towards a common market where there's free movement of people, goods, services. However, there's an important aspect of PR in terms of talking or showing what's the importance of this integration in relation to the advancement of each of the countries.
Right.
There's a lot that we need to unpack or uncover as part of the East African integration, and basically public relations can help us do that very well. It can help sell East Africa as a bloc. It can help sell the individual countries. Why should one person go to one country? What does another country need? What are the opportunities? And public relations basically helps do this very well. As part of the agenda, we've got different speakers from the different East African countries that I've mentioned, and they'll be basically unpacking what opportunities are there, both for public relations professionals working in the government and also the private sector.
Right. I was actually going to ask what should people expect? What should the delegates be expecting from this second edition? I understand it's the second edition.
Yes.
From this second edition of the East Africa Public Relations Week that is going to be hosted in Jinja.
Yes, it's going
next
to be in
week.
Jinja. Yes.
Yes, from the 6th to the 10th.
Yes, it is.
So what should the delegates or whoever is attending expect from this year's Public Relations Week?
Okay, so first of all, there's going to be a lot of knowledge sharing.
Okay.
From the delegates who are coming from different countries, there'll be a lot of knowledge sharing about the latest trends, learnings in the industry of public relations. That's the first one. The second one, there'll be very many opportunities to do business, both within the country and also integrated with the East African region. The third one is basically share challenges that each of these our members and the professionals and the delegates who will be in attendance are basically facing, and get solutions to those challenges. As they say in Africa, a problem shared is a problem solved.
Yes, half solved,
so
yes.
again, we'll be discussing that. And then also from a strategic point of view, we'll be seeing what role can public relations play in the advancement of the economies within East Africa. As an association in Uganda and also in Kenya, there's a push for bills, professional practice bills, to have the public relations industry be recognized and also receive support both from the government and also the private sector for public relations to be an integral key in terms of development and making sure that we've got the right professionals in the right positions driving forward the development agenda, the communication agenda within East Africa and also Uganda.
Right, and on that very note, briefly, what would you say would be the roles the public relations role would play in terms of even just for a country say like Uganda?
Yes.
What would be the role of public relations? Briefly, the role of public relations, so that we can incorporate now into the East African, the other East African countries and see how best we can scale up using public relations.
Okay, so PR is a very good tool for selling. And the reason why it's a very good tool for selling is that it manages or looks after the reputation of a country.
Right.
So what we're basically saying is that to sell each of our countries individually and also as a whole block, we need to use public relations. We need to look at the key issues or the things that we can sell or position the country. So for example, Uganda can be positioned having a very young workforce, having very good fertile soils for agriculture, having good tourism, having a stable economy. And so those are some of the key drivers that public relations can push forward in terms of branding and making sure that the reputation of a country is seen very well in the eyes of outside there.
Right.
Now collectively, with all these good things that public relations will be able to do for each of the countries, then East Africa is seen as the block to be in. So instead of going to other blocks within Africa or even within the world, and as you know, East Africa is the fastest growing block in the world. Statistics have been given. So we basically collectively have a very good environment which is created through public relations, because then you're positioning the strengths of the country, but you're also working on the key issues which are there, which could maybe, let's say, hamper that development. So public relations, even as a management tool, is very good because it also looks at the risks within an organization. What are those things that are being said about an organization, about a country, that we need to look into and we need to sort out? It also looks at stakeholder engagement. So who are those stakeholders that we need to engage? Who do we need to talk to? Do we need to push forward to basically have a better integration, and also to look at the issues that integration also has, because integration also has some challenges.
Yes, I was actually initially I had imagined, because PR has two elements.
Yes.
It has the element of image maintenance, but also has an element of relationship maintenance.
Yes.
So ideally, in the beginning, I had imagined this would be maintaining the relationship between the East African, among the East African countries.
Yes.
That's the first part I had imagined, and maybe you could correct me on that if I'm actually on the right track.
Yes, you are on the right track, because for a very long time we've been talking about integration, and we've had, for example, the economists coming together and sitting. We've had people from the revenue authorities coming together and sitting.
Yes.
We've had lawyers coming together and sitting to discuss so many things to do with integration. But this is the first time that public relations professionals are also coming to the table and saying, hey, PR has a very key role to play with regards to driving forward East African integration. And one of the issues that you said is basically relationship building. With integration, you've got different cultures, you've got different nuances, you've got different societies, you've got different languages. So how do we bring this together and make sure that they are not challenges or they do not hamper us towards the integration that we're looking at for East Africa?
Right. And on that very note, that is when I ask, what, like some specific examples of how the East African Public Relations Week will play, say, a vital role or play a fostering role when it comes to unity and cooperation among the East African countries.
Okay, so one of the things that we're having the different patrons from the different associations attending.
Right.
And basically what we want to do is to bring together the East African Secretariat with our patrons to push the agenda for public relations to play a very key role within the East African integration. So that's one of the ways. Secondly, we're also pushing for each of our governments to support the bills that we're pushing forward to Parliament for the public relations profession to be recognized as a profession that needs to have the backing of the government, so that then all of our practitioners are licensed and we basically undergo more rigorous training so that we're able to represent our governments, the companies that we work for, in a more strategic way that plays a very key role within the integration. We're also going to be sharing some challenges and also successes in how we can push forward and position our different countries, our different strengths as, you know, as individual countries within the East African bloc, and how do we see public relations driving this forward, because it will play a very important role in positioning our different countries individually, but then also as a bloc, as East Africa. So
Right.
that's what we're looking forward to doing next week.
Right, and I do understand usually some of these initiatives come from identifying a gap.
Yes.
So what are some of the gaps that you have identified in there that you feel need to be filled, both individually as countries, but also as a bloc? Because we've been talking about integration for a very long time.
Yes.
And talking about one president, talking about one currency, one language, and these are conversations we've had over the years,
Yes.
but we don't seem to get there.
Yes.
So where have you identified the gap that is going, that now we're going to fill using using public relations?
Okay, so first of all, there's a cultural gap in the sense that we are made up of different tribes.
Right.
Collectively, East Africa has over about 150 different tribes. And so when you're talking about integration, you're talking about an integration of cultures, an integration of language, an integration of societies. So we want to try and see how do we integrate the different cultures to act and operate as one.
Right.
So that's one of them. The second one is an operational gap, which at times you find one country moving faster than the other.
Right.
But with public relations, through stakeholder relations, through stakeholder mapping, we're able to discuss and bring everyone to the table and see how do we move at the same pace. So that's also another key factor that public relations plays.
Right.
The third one is assessing the risks that are involved with integration. And public relations has a very good way of assessing risk and also identifying ways in which you can overcome that risk. Because then if you ignore this risk, it may lead, maybe let's say, to a reputational damage, or it may lead to a management issue that if you go so far without sorting it out, then it can lead, you know, into challenges. So those are some of the gaps that we're seeing. But we also want to see how does public relations professionals, or how do public relations professionals work together the way revenue authorities are working together, the legal, the lawyers are working together, even engineers are working together, you know. So how does the peer professionals in the different countries come together and also push forward the integration agenda of East Africa?
And you know, the different associations you've talked about actually should have a peer element, ideally. I don't know if they do, but they should be having a peer element in there. So that means if you're talking about peer, it cuts across.
Yes.
I think at some point, if a family is even big enough, they might need a peer part.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
so
true.
in this case, as countries, where are we falling short when it comes to how we handle our peer?
Okay. Different countries have their challenges, but I think the best or where we can start is from a skill gap,
Right.
whereby we're moving more, we are already in a digital world, and so things move faster than we're able to manage. And so one of the things that we want to fight is fake news, because then at times fake news about one country is spread faster than that country can actually manage.
Well, if I may cut you short, they say
Yes.
that every PR is good PR. So they say.
Yes, that's a traditional way, but then if you cannot manage the negative PR and basically tell your own story, then it
Right.
becomes a problem. And so that storytelling is what I'd started with and said, there's a story to tell about East Africa,
Right.
and that story is best told through public relations in terms of how do you position one country and all these good things about one country merging together
Right.
for the whole block
Right,
in itself.
right.
So just to go back to your question, it's something that we're basically looking at and seeing how best do we, overcome these gaps that we're having. But then also, how does public relations play a very important role in making sure that the integration is seamless and it involves all the key stakeholders within that integration going forward.
Right. Speaking of stakeholders,
Yes.
I would love to know the involvement, especially of the different governments, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi, Congo, South Sudan. How involved are they in this cause to
Yes.
facilitate this integration? Because in my own thinking, we might have all these efforts that we are putting in place, but if our leaders are not on board with us, it gets a little bit challenging.
Yes.
And how has it been as well? Have they been very welcoming?
Yes.
Take us through how the government's actually coming out
Yes.
to support this cause of integration through PR.
Okay. So first of all, the governments are very willing within East Africa in terms of moving forward with the East African integration. There is a lot of opportunity, both from an economic, a social point of view, and then also a political point of view.
Right.
Because then for a very long time, the different countries have acted differently, but there is unity in integration and moving forward. So just from a planning perspective, we've been having weekly meetings with all the associations for the last 4 months in the lead up to this conference. And all these associations, we've been having an average of about 2 hours discussions every week, basically looking at the agenda, looking at the speakers, looking at the involvement of the government through their patrons. We've also invited the Secretary General of the EAC to come and grace and officially open the conference.
Right.
So again, that in itself is getting the goodwill right from the top of the East African, bloc integration. We are also having our patrons attending from each of the different countries.
Yes.
So basically coming down, sitting together and saying, for the first time, and saying, hey, what can we do as different countries with regards to the role of PR going forward? And then also we expect to have a paper or a mandate from that, which will then be presented in Arusha, basically putting forward together the discussions that we'll be having in Jinja next week and seeing how best can public relations play a key role towards integration, and having that discussion continuing next year, even when we go to Tanzania, which is expected to host the third conference next year.
Also, the third conference is actually
Yes.
expected to be in Tanzania.
Yes.
Well, just at this moment, I would like to call upon our dearest viewer. Please be part of the conversations. Send through your comments. And we are talking about integration. Share your thoughts on how public relations can promote regional integrations. I do have some comments already that seem to be coming through. And just before I get into those comments, I would like to know, a little bit about the logistics and the attendance for this Public Relations Week. It's going to be in Jinja, so I need to know what time are we starting, a little bit about the program. You've shared a bit of the guests we should expect, the speakers we should expect, but am I paying for this event? How do I access more information in case I may not be able to get the full details here? so that I get to know how I can be part of this. And which people does the event attract? Is it just PR professionals or practitioners, or even someone who feels like this is a good conversation to have can actually attend?
Okay, all right. So in terms of attendance, first of all, we'll be having practitioners from MDAs, basically ministries, departments, you know, made up of government representatives. So that's a first block of participants we'll be having from all over East Africa.
Right.
We'll also be having practitioners from the private sector. We'll also be having practitioners from the NGO sector. We'll also be having consultants, PR consultants and independent practitioners, as well as also agencies which do a lot of the PR work.
Right.
So in terms of participation, that's who we're basically looking at. In terms of logistics, so everyone is going to be coming into Jinja on Sunday, checking in, and then on Monday, we basically now start the official conference.
Right.
And so we'll be having a mix, about 3 different tracks. We'll be having the first track, which will be basically every day we'll be having a topic around East Africa, based on the theme and how we're pushing forward the integration agenda. So that's going to be the first track. The second track is going to be professional learning and development. Basically, what are the latest trends, what are the latest issues that we're facing as PR practitioners,
Right.
and what do we need to do for our different organizations that we're working for. And then the third track is basically experience sharing, looking at case studies, what good campaigns have we had, and that will also now lead to Friday, the final day, when we're now going to be having the awards night, and we're bringing back the public relations PR Excellence Awards.
Yes, I've seen those before.
Yes, so these are coming back. The last time we did this was in 2016, so we're basically bringing them back to celebrate PR excellence in Uganda. Now, in as much as the awards will be focused on Uganda, there's going to be a lot of celebration from the other countries, just basically seeing how well we're doing our PR here, and also recognizing the different organizations which are doing very good work in the PR industry. So that will be the culmination of the 5 days. In between, we'll be having different events to basically showcase the Ugandan culture, to showcase Uganda tourism, to showcase also the different opportunities that we have, not only in Uganda, but then also in East Africa. So again, there'll be a lot of experience sharing from the different countries. There'll be a lot of networking. There'll be a lot of sharing of opportunities with the different delegates who will be coming in. And also work with no play makes us dull. So again, we'll be having some fun activities,
play, right.
just to make sure that we're keeping healthy and we're keeping active, because then mental health is something serious that we're looking at. And one of the ways that mental health can be upheld is making sure that we have time off from work to concentrate on our bodies and giving ourselves a break from the work that we do.
Great, and well, I would say you have chosen a very good city for this particular week, because you and I know it's a beautiful city, especially if you want to if you want to get away from the town and relax a little bit as well. So definitely we are headed for a good week. And on the same note, the number is 0709602592. You can have the conversation with us. We are talking about how PR can be used to foster regional integration. We're talking about the East African community. So please do let us know. I do have some comments here, but before that, Mr. Mwirigi, we saw something on the X app recently, and it was some months ago. This individual came and started talking about how they came to Uganda and what they found, went to Kenya, what they found, and Rwanda, what they found. They described a few East African countries and what they found. And this made rounds all over social media. And for me, it indicates a challenge, one, with a lack of information, because this person was not really well informed about the countries they were talking about.
Yes.
But also, it also opens our eyes to the fact that we are in an era where someone who is not anywhere close to being versed with PR can actually wake up and say something and it's taken as gospel truth.
Yes.
And in this case, how do we handle the challenge of the public not knowing what to put out and what not to put and how to put it out? Because I understand as PR, I have to have a strategy of for my communication. I need to know where I'm going to start from, what I'm going to say. If I'm asked a question, how am I going to approach it?
Yeah.
Whether it's in a tough situation or in a
Yes.
crisis or not.
Yes.
But in this case, how do we even handle? Because if a Kenyan, you've seen the battles on the X app.
Yes.
The Kenyans wake up in the morning and Kenyans are bashing Ugandans. Then Ugandans are bashing back, and then Nigerians are doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
how do we even handle that? Because I believe it all falls under PR.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
It does.
Yes.
It does. So different people have different things that they pick out based on either their experience or their objectives. And at times people can go for, you know, what I'd call the extraordinary just to make a case. So one of the ways that we need to defend this is to make sure that we are telling our own stories
Right.
repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
So that then when anyone comes with a negative perception, we've told our story over and over again, that then people will start, you know, sort of like poking holes and saying, why is this person talking about this, yet we know this country for doing this.
Right,
And so this
right.
is where the importance of PR comes in terms of basically positioning the good
Right.
and making sure that the negative is actually worked on. So not all countries are perfect, and we believe that through the power of public relations and looking at some of the issues that we need to work on, we're able to address the stakeholders who can help us work on those things. However, also your story, you know, people came out and really defended
Another country.
you know, defended Uganda, defended Kenya, defended, because, I mean, and I think it was a tourist who came in, and basically...
What tourist cannot even go through around town
Exactly.
and get the correct information?
And basically people came out and actually defended their countries and even defended other countries,
Right.
because then they knew something about this country that wasn't being told right. So
Right.
again, that's the power of basically telling our own story, and storytelling will be one of the key agendas that we're looking at. How do we effectively tell our story for the different countries, for the different organizations that we work with,
Right.
and collectively we have a beautiful story to tell for East Africa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwirigi. Well, unfortunately, we might have to call it a wrap for this morning. I do have a comment,
Yes.
a big comment that is coming in from Mugisha Juma Hussein. Says regional integration will only be valuable once they agree on the use of the same money, national ID, becoming a travel document to the different countries. Unfortunate to East African community, and find that they buy things within the region. Buying things within the region requires one to first change the money into the other currency, and at the end of your budget, for example, if you have 1 million, you find that you are remaining with 300,000 Uganda shillings after changing your 1 million into their money. So let's first focus on how to use the same cash to move on. Well, secondly, let's use the national ID as a travel document. Thirdly, let's finalize discussions of goods not being blocked at the borders, like what normally happens with Kenya borders, and mentions the posho, the eggs and stuff like that, because Uganda products get problems while being taken outside the country when Uganda as a country has never blocked any good or service from abroad. Finally, let's have a common language. That is it. From Mugisha Juma Hussein. Now, unfortunately, I may not be able to read all the comments, but one more. The public relations can't work without involving the lower rank officers who will still continue to disturb traders in their countries, for example, the DRC and South Sudan. This can be through advocating the law officers. Otherwise, we are promising heaven on earth. Well, I'm thinking we are making the baby steps to getting this to another level. So let's appreciate the effort that is coming in. Well,
Yes.
Mr. Mwirigi, what would be your parting shots as we get out of this session of the show?
Okay, 3 parting shots. For anyone who's watching and is in the space where they are either a public relations officer or a PR practitioner and they've not gotten in touch with us, they can go to our website. That's proud.co.ug for more information about the conference. We'll be in Jinja at the Ginger Nile Resort from the 6th to the 10th of November. And this has been made possible by our very generous sponsors, and I'd just like to mention, if that's okay with you, UCC has been able to support us, the Bank of Uganda, the Deposit Protection Fund, the Nation Media Group, UA, Nile Breweries, Stanbic, Red Cross, the Civil Aviation Authority, UMRA, Uganda Airlines, Pulse Uganda, and also our dear members from the association. So we want to invite everyone to Jinja to come and be a part of this historic conference. And we look forward to hosting them for a fantastic time of learning, networking, and seeing how best to move forward the East African integration using public relations.
Right, thank you so much. You've heard it. That is Mr. Paul Mwirigi, who is the Vice President of the PR Association of Uganda, right?
Yes.
Yes, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
For now, let's call it a wrap and get into a very short break. We'll be right back.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Nibanyita kananye niyita Sezi Nwagaba commercial officer Ntungamo district government.
I am Sezi Nwagaba, the commercial officer for Ntungamo local government. I express my gratitude to God for this platform and the Emyuga initiative brought to us by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, as it has positively transformed the lives of the people in Ntungamo, whom I have known for a long time. When you visit the beneficiaries of this program, you can easily witness the significant positive changes in their lives. The audit report demonstrates that despite their leader being deaf and blind, profits are being made, highlighting how this program has actively engaged and evolved every individual. Initially, we received 2 billion and 650 million Uganda shillings. Each constituency received 530 million Uganda shillings. I would like to express my gratitude to this platform for providing us with the opportunity to share information about the Emyuga program. Our special thanks go to the President for initiating the program, and additionally, I would like to mention that there are numerous similar projects in Rubare and Ntungamo.
Amazina nabanyeta Ndyamuba Amon Sarongo kandi nanye nuko kweyeta chairman w'abantu abino burema ahabwa Rushenyi PWD Emyuga Sacco.
My name is Nyamuba Amon Salongo, and I serve as the chairman of PWD Emyuga Sacco in Rushenyi constituency. As individuals with disabilities, we have greatly benefited from the support we received in the form of 30 million Ugandan shillings seed capital. Despite facing challenges, the impact has been immense. Our SACCO consists of 211 members, and we have utilized the opportunity to engage in goat rearing. By taking advantage of the low interest rates provided, we have been able to purchase goats. While some members have faced difficulties, this initiative has proven beneficial overall. Additionally, we were later granted an additional 20 million Ugandan shillings, which we put to good use. This financial support has played a significant role in the progress of each and every SACCO member. Through these initiatives, we aim to ensure that everyone in our community benefits from our collective efforts.
I'm Kisame Andrew, cold chain technician attached to Kalio District Local Government in the health department. The vaccines come when they're in the truck, which is refrigerated from NMS. I receive them, so I load these vaccines. There are some cold boxes I put in those containers, then I take to the facilities. Even in the facilities, there are fridges. We are so grateful to the government of Uganda because each and every health center 3 and 4 in the Kalio district has a refrigerator. Once they reach there, I offload them. I also put them in the fridges. These facilities have scheduled outreaches whereby they have to go to the community, to the villages, communities, and make sure that they vaccinate. So they also have small containers which are called vaccine carriers, which they put on their back, of course with some ice to maintain the temperature. So that when they mobilize, the community mobilizers, the VHTs, the LOC ones do mobilize the communities in gazetted outreaches which are already gazetted. They come and also workers find the clients there and then they do vaccinate them.
I'm Kwanga Ramazan.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. It is time for the traffic updates, and if you're trying to get to town from areas of Ntinda, this is what I have for you. You will be knowing if you should use the Ntinda road or you should find an alternative, or if you should sit back and relax and wait for the jam to calm down, depending on how fast you need to get to town. Now, I am standing in Ntinda right now at the Ntinda Shopping Center, trying to make my way to town using the Bukoto-Ntinda Road. And from the junction, there is a smooth flow of traffic. And when you are approaching Ntinda Shopping Center, it gets a little bit tight. And that could be because of the junction on there. But when I get to the Ntinda, to the Bukoto-Ntinda Road, there is traffic. However, the traffic is flowing quite smoothly. And all the way as I get down, trying to get to Chira Road, traffic is indeed moving smoothly. Gets to a bit of a tight up as you are approaching the Victoria Hospital, but also loosens up a little bit. And when you are getting to Chira roundabout, when you're getting further onto Chira Road, you are going to be moving smoothly. Go past St. Andrew's Church. That part has traffic lights. So if you should find some jam there, it could be because of the traffic lights, but usually not. And you'll be moving smoothly until you get to reach to the junction that has the junction that takes you down into, if you're trying to get to the bypass, but then also if you're trying to stay on Chira Road, because of the junction coming from somewhere in Naguru, you will be finding a bit of a tight up on there, so brace yourself for that. But after that, there is smooth traffic flow until you move and get to the junction that until you get to the junction that is the main Chira Road traffic lights on there. And if you are trying to get to Lugogo bypass, or you are trying to go further onto Chira Road to connect to Kamocha, you are actually free to move. Aside from after the traffic lights, there is a bit of a hold up, slow traffic, but it gets easier along the way you proceed on Chira Road. You, my friend, are free to continue moving. However, if you are trying to get to Lugogo bypass, you have a little bit of a hold up, but it also gets easier as you move along the Lugogo playground until you are trying to get to a little bit of the junction before Eastbatch University also has a bit of a hold up, definitely because of that junction. But after that, you are headed for smooth flow. There is actually no traffic until you are approaching Katikati Africa. That is where you will be finding a little bit of a slow jam. But after that, you are going to be free to move all the way until you reach Lugogo shopping mart and also the forest, what we call the forest mall. The lights on there are the ones that are going to be bringing a little bit of a hold up, the ones that connect you to Ginger Road and if you're trying to get to industrial area. But that is it for the traffic flow if you are trying to get to town using the Lugogo bypass. Onto Chira Road, like I already told you, traffic seems to be smooth all the way. Just a little bit of hold-ups, especially when you are approaching the Acacia Mall. But after that, you are free to move all the way as you are going to the Uganda Museum. There is a smooth flow of traffic, and until you are getting to the Tuko roundabout, that is going to be having a lot of jam as you are approaching. But after that, you are free to move if you are joining Haj Musa Kasule Road. There's also traffic on there, but generally you are free to move right now a little bit peacefully, but in the next few minutes, maybe like 30 or 40, I may not guarantee the same results because people are now stepping out to go to their workplaces. Well, that is it for the traffic updates. Coming up is Good Morning Uganda Agenda with Robert Chirabo.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Nkwanga Ramazan is my name, the head teacher of this great school, Ikumbia Seed Secondary School. The school has the staff room well furnished, administration well furnished, the computer lab well furnished, the library wonderful, the multipurpose hall well furnished. The teachers are also enjoying in the staff quarters. The school has teachers totaling to 28. Ikumbia Seed has embraced the new curriculum. I want to thank the government for that bright idea. There are many students that end up in senior 4 with no document. But with the coming of the IT, the skill children are going to have certificates in skills as early as senior 3. And that certificate is equivalent to a senior 4 certificate. Ikumia City Secondary School is a very great school that has influenced the lives of people or changed the lives of people of Ikubia sub-county. I want to thank the parents and the government for this kind of input.
I'm Kisame Andrew, cold chain technician. I attached to Kalio District Local Government in the health department. The vaccines come when they're in the truck, which is refrigerated from NMS. I receive them, so I load these vaccines. There are some cold boxes I put in those containers, then I take to the facilities. Even in the facilities, there are fridges. We are so grateful to the government of Uganda because each and every health center 3 and 4 in the Kalio district has a refrigerator. Once they reach there, I offload them. I also put them in the fridges. These facilities have scheduled outreaches whereby they have to go to the community, to the villages, communities, and make sure that they vaccinate. So they also have small containers which are called vaccine carriers, which they put on their back, of course with some ice to maintain the temperature. So that when they mobilize, the community mobilizers, the VHTs, the LOC ones do mobilize the communities in gazetted outreaches which are already gazetted. They come and also workers find the clients there and then they do vaccinate them.
I'm very appreciative to the government of Uganda for the support it has given this school. First of all, it is paying 16 government teachers, and it's bringing in UPE funds that has partly helped the school. Formerly, the school was not like as it is now. We have put some good face. We have planted trees around the compound. We even have a banana plantation, very, very good looking. We have 16 government teachers and 10 private teachers. Those private teachers are paid by the government.
I was here in 1991, 1997. It became a model school in 95. That's when it was changed from Kazo Primary School to Kazo Model School. I am a beneficiary of UPE. Government paid for me in 1997 when I was here as a student of this school.
Juko. Yo. What you check the shopping man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange. Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli Miracap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish twete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obwebyenanda obwivwa eno okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wano ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'e2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga batulagirira kusaani fish farm ebwikwe inside day dindeyo twabanga tusobola okufuna kwetusaako obugege obwasooka era mu mwaka ogwali 2020 awo basobola okuba nga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo $40 okuva mu operation wealth creation, era okuba ayongerezaako emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okuba nga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 42. Twasobola okuba nga tubuinvestinga oba okubona nti twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukola gano. Twebaza gavumenti yaife okuba nga buli saawa efaayo okuba nga efeeri y'Abannayuganda.
I've seen a number of community members out there that have formed themselves into groups and have identified enterprises, agricultural enterprises, rice and all that, and they've actually been successfully cultivating them. They've gone ahead, the project has gone ahead and also introduced small-scale industries like the rice huller, the grinding mills and all that are managed by the groups. All these are successes.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Acholi land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart from being willing. You have to be willing, and a youth who is willing to get the skills. The courses we have started with only 4. That is tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, and welding. First intake, we registered 212 students from 10 administrative units of Acholi. These students, they recruited them from different districts within the Acholi sub-region. If we continue with this cooperation, many beneficiaries will pass through us, and they will go with enough skills and non-skills, which will change them and later bring them into an economy. We shall really fight poverty in that way.
Gulu City Market lies in 4 acres of land with a population of about 4,000 registered market vendors who are doing business in this facility. We really appreciate the initiative of the government to come up with this project that is benefiting not only the business community within the market, but the entire community within Acholi sub-region. When you look at the market previously, the market used to be not like this one. With the market vendors, they used to sell under papyrus reeds. And we used also to ferry our goods, come and sell, then you take it in the stores or elsewhere. But now, due to this infrastructural development, the vendors now, they are able now to sell, cover your goods, leave it there, and you come and get it the next day when it is safe. The safety of our goods and the convenience of doing business has improved greatly. That makes the local community very, very, very happy when they are doing business in the market now. I want to appeal to my fellow vendors and the community of the entire Acholi sub-region that we need to embrace and support the government so that they continue also bringing us more development in our region.
In Bushenyi district, we run a number of programs ranging from service delivery to wealth creation. We have the presidential initiative on wealth creation, a MUGA program, where we have 34 circles that have been given funds for the last 2 years, of which each SACCO received 33 million and only 2 managed to receive 50 million each. These funds have enabled the different categories of our population to engage into business-related activities, and we can see their incomes getting better. Some of them are into tailoring, others into mechanics, into carpentry, hairdressing, or mention it. And so far, they are running their enterprises smoothly.
amazina nabanyeta ndyamuba Amon Sarongo kandi nanye nukundi kweyeta chairman w'abantu abine oburema aha bwa Rushenyi PWD Emyoga Sacco.
My name is Nyamuba Amon Salongo, and I serve as the chairman of PWD Emyoga Sacco in Rushenyi constituency. As individuals with disabilities, we have greatly benefited from the support we received in the form of 30 million Ugandan shillings seed capital. Despite facing challenges, the impact has been immense. Our SACCO consists of 211 members. While some members have faced difficulties, this initiative has proven beneficial overall. Additionally, we were later granted an additional 20 million Ugandan shillings, which we put to good use. This financial support has played a significant role in the progress of each and every SACCO member. Through these initiatives, we aim to ensure that everyone in our community benefits from our collective efforts.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning. Once again, you're still watching Good Morning Uganda on UBC Television. It's the agenda, and we are going to be having a further discussion. And this time, we are going to be talking about the digital number plates. Now, a report came out as of yesterday, 1st November 2023. The Russian company finally rolled out digital plates in Uganda. Please do note that this particular company had a lot of contention and very many asking why a Russian company was the one hired to do this job, and very many other questions that were centered around the digital number plates. Finally, these number plates were rolled out. And on set with me, I have Robert Chirabo. We are going to be getting deeper into this discussion, and we would like you to be part of the conversation. Let us know what you think. And just to give you an update, you, my friend, who already has a car, you will be paying 150,000 to exchange your number plate from the one that you have right now to the new number plate, the new digital number plate. Then you who is yet to buy a car or who is thinking of attaining one, you are going to be paying 714,000 Uganda shillings for you to be able to get this digital number plate. If you are a motorcyclist, boda and all these other big bikes, you will be paying 50,000 Uganda shillings to be able to either exchange or to get the new number plate, the new digital plate. Now, this leaves a number of questions. One, we've had discussions on why are we paying this amount of money, this much money for these number plates? That is the first question. But also, what is the relevance of these digital number plates? President Museveni has come out to explain to us a number of times, and different parties have also come out to explain to us what it entails and why do we need to have these digital number plates. And I'm going to start from there with you, Robert. Why do we even need digital number plates?
Well, thank you so much, Chantal, and of course our viewers. We appreciate you being with us all the time. Now, one, if you have the history of how we got here, You remember we had quite a number of shootings and killings of prominent people in this country.
Right.
Then we had a wave of kidnaps. Some of the cases we are seeing, the Maria Nagirinya, now we have the Susan Magara case going on.
Along the way we had General Katumba being
so
shot and losing.
we had a number of these incidents, and now His Excellency came up with several measures to be put in place. Installation of cameras, we had the recruitment of LDUs, then came digital number plates. I prefer calling them number plates with enhanced features.
Okay.
Though many call them digital, but I think digital, because
in my own opinion, digital entails something that is less mechanical than what we are seeing
than what we are seeing.
Yes.
Some now call them number plates with enhanced features. Now, when the president looked at this, he said, there we shall be able to track each vehicle in case a crime occurred. For example, Robert, I'm coming in to work at UBC and I'm hit at the gate. These guys with motorcycles, they shoot at me and I'm gone. Now, they'll be able to track which motorcycle was in that area at that particular time and where it is. So they get the motorcycle, then they are able to apprehend those that will commit it. But also to be hard for people to commit that crime, because they will know that it's easily trackable, because they have been using either motorcycles commonly or vehicles.
But on that very note, Chairable, what then is the difference between the old plates and the new plates? Because one, we have seen cars, for example, that have committed atrocities but with covered plates. So how are you going to track that car if you're going to be using a number plate to track?
With a good thing with these number plates is they have trackers.
Okay.
Those cars have not been having trackers. These ones have trackers. And the moment you try to tamper with, it will alert the system. That is why there's even a heavy penalty.
Couldn't we just register the number plates we had?
Now, these number plates we have, I can easily remove a number plate. I can come to your Subaru. I pluck off your number plate. Then I put on my Golf. Then after committing a crime, you know, you can easily remove them. You see what the traffic officers do. In a minute,
it's already off, yes.
With these new number plates, even the traffic officers
cannot pluck them off.
Because if they do, it has a heavy penalty, because it will show the system that you did it for a crime. You wanted to commit an offense. So it will be easy to track. They're not easy that you remove them and put them on another vehicle. So the ability to track a vehicle wherever it is and recover it, one, it will make criminals either look for alternative ways. This issue of a border man came, they hit, they took off, they have to look for alternative measures. Second, it will be hard for you to say, I'm driving a car without number plates. I'm driving a motorcycle. So it is the technology in these number plates that is going to aid in fighting and preventing crime. When crime occurs, it is easy to detect, it is easy to track and apprehend, but also for the criminals, they'll find it a bit harder, because you can't have a crime-free society, let's be very honest.
That's true.
You're planning, they are planning.
Right.
However, you can reduce on the rate of a crime. Let me just give you a simple example. We were told to register SIM cards. And to be honest, this has helped to a certain extent. However, it has also failed to a certain extent.
Why?
Because still criminals have found techniques of how a person can have a phone, maybe steal a phone from someone, use it, then when you go, you track, you find that Robert already filed as a police report, he was beaten and his phone was stolen. Now the SIM card that was used was something police is looking for. Even with these tracked with these number plates, still someone can steal your car on gunpoint. And maybe if you delay to report and notify, they can commit an offense. But it's not going to be as easy as it has been of late. That is the main purpose. The main purpose of these number plates is for security or prevention of crime. And I think if we roll this out properly, that will reduce. It will not completely eliminate, but will reduce.
Great. And according to the report that was put out yesterday is when we saw the launch, you know, the official rollout of these digital number plates. And of course, it is going to start with with government agencies. And this is in a bid to live by example. Because at the end of the day, if the leaders are not doing what they're telling us to do, then we will question why they're telling us to do it, yet they are not doing it. But my question also goes to, aren't we centering our focus in a place that is far-fetched when it comes to controlling crime? What do I mean? So, for example, theft. If someone, say, comes to your house and they've come to rob you, how will you even track that? You get it? Because maybe if you're telling me that we are rolling this out for the sake of traffic, you know, controlling traffic, or people that abuse traffic rules. If you tell me that, maybe. But if we were talking about general security and this being a measure, how effective is it going to be? Yet even the cameras themselves that were put in place, one, either they were stolen, or they do not function, or they can only go up to a certain point. How are we even going to ensure that this is going to be effective?
Well, why I want to say if we do it right, it's going to be effective. I want to add the word if we do it right. For example, cameras are effective.
To a certain degree, Chirabo.
But only if you do them right. If you install them right, that you have a camera that feeds into the other, and you have them at all spots. I know there are criminals police has been able to arrest because of images from the cameras. A car has been stolen, then they'll tell you, we saw it at Zana, there are cameras there.
Right.
Then it was in Entebbe, then it proceeded to Chitoro, so cameras can help to an extent. Now, the uniqueness of these number plates is that when a crime occurs, it's like people who have vehicles and they have trackers. You know? If your car has a tracker and some modern system, I will sit here, Chantal, I have an app, I'll be able to know where my vehicle is. Now, in the case of a crime being committed, like the example I gave that I'm coming in, I'm shot at UBC, of course people gather, then if they can have the right time, then they try to look at what particular vehicle at that time was moving.
Right.
They could have maybe a list of 2, 3, and then they zero down, and the good thing is they'll be able to know where those vehicles are. Even they're on road, they are moving somewhere, just like a tracker in a personal car. Many companies go have private companies that are doing tracking. They will tell you our car was stolen, and they will go to this company and they will give them where their car is suspected to be, at least within some proximity there, and they can go. So if they broke in your house and they used a motor vehicle, sometimes someone was there and they gotten the number plate.
Right.
Because one thing I've gotten to understand, wherever a crime is committed, just that sometimes you don't want to disclose, 75% of crimes committed, there is a witness somewhere. Either they will fear to speak, but there is someone who has seen and can be a good witness.
Witness, yes.
Someone can tell you, but I passed by, I saw people loading things on a car. I thought it was you leaving and moving to a new house. But if Ugandans are vigilant, then someone will tell you, the number plate was this. Today in the era of cameras, I took a shot at it or something like that. So, tracking and being able to locate. We've had people who tell you that they were on a border. But you see, even if you have the number plate and you saw it, you will not know where that border is.
Yes.
Though the system also has a few challenges, one of them, and I think where most car dealers I've talked to, are saying it is going to delay. You know, we get a lot of revenue from cars sold in Uganda every day.
Right.
Cars coming in. Now, installation centers, where Chantal today you would walk into a car bond. It is Valentine's, I want to give gift you a car, I have my money, we move in, you have your TIN number, I buy you a car. And we are done, business is concluded. It is going to delay this transaction because not everyone can install. You know the number plates we've been having, where Chantal, we get the number plate, bit, you're good to go, let's transfer, then you've gotten a car. Selling a car from one hand to the other, that also is going to be disturbed because you must make sure that there is proper documentation.
And that is where I see a challenge because most of our systems usually gets slow. Also, I feel like sometimes we implement things yet we are not very ready for how they're going to be rolling out. Unfortunately, we may have to get to the end of this. And as a road user, in your parting shots as a road user, is this something that you are looking forward to being part of, or you also still have questions as some of the members of the public actually do?
Well, first, I welcome it with fears. It is a good move if well implemented, but I want to tell you we've always had challenges with implementation. They're very good ideas. His Excellency is very visionary. He has the right choices, the right solutions to the problems of this country. But always the challenge has been with people who are mandated to ensure that they implement this. Now, this Russian company is going to be here for a period of 10 years.
Yes.
Government of Uganda is not putting a penny into this. This is a very expensive venture.
But Ugandans are paying
we believe,
good amounts of money for this.
What we are told, this company is going to do all this investment. Then in a period, they expect they will have recouped their money with profits, and they're going to be training Ugandans. Then they will hand this over to Uganda. But I hope, I pray, we have effective, timely, smooth implementation. You know, this has been extended. We had a deadline.
Yeah, initially it was 1st July.
Yes.
Then apparently, according to challenges, it was pushed to yesterday.
I just hope you're not doing things in a hurried manner, and we hit a rock full of confusion.
And that is exactly what I was telling you. Well, thank you for being part of this conversation this morning. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have to be out of here. Coming up is going to be Ruben Chirangopima with the sports updates. But for now, please do make sure that you go and get your digital number plate. If you are, I repeat, if you are a new owner of a car and you're trying to buy one, you're going to be paying 150,000. But if you already have a car, you will be paying 714,000 for that digital number plate. Please do budget accordingly. Thank you for being part of the show. We'll be right back.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.